SVC Media.
Welcome to the iGaming Daily Podcast, analysing the news from the betting and gaming industry all over the globe, supported by Optimove, the #1 CRM marketing solution for the iGaming market.
Hi everybody, I'm Andrea McGeachin from Neosurf, bringing together some great chit-chat today. But before I start, let me talk about the sponsors, which are great for letting us being able to do all of this. So Optimove is our sponsor, and they're the #1 CRM marketing solution in the iGaming market. And 56% of the EGR for Power 50 personalised player experience with Optimove. And as a special offer, Optimove are offering new clients a free first month when they buy Optimove. For more information and claim that free month, you go to optimove.com/SBC. There will also be links at the end of the podcast when it's published. That's great. So I'm now going to introduce my guest today, who is Andy Whitworth from White Hat Gaming, the CEO. But I want to just quickly give the story, Andy, before you can start to talk, because it's a great story. Is that 20 years, you don't look that old, in the iGaming world. And it started in retail in the UK and Australia. And you've worked on both the operator and supplier sides. And I'm always fascinated when you talk. So I'm really, really pleased that you're with us. And I know that you were a commercial director for Casino for 9 years at what was then GVC, now Entain. And I know you were part of an amazing team out there with other people I know from there. And under your watch, you jumped from the AIM market to the FTSE 100, which is a massive thing to do. It became the biggest company globally at the time. And thanks to the area of your area, the casino growth. So you know what you're talking about. You're also in the thick of it for when their major US deals, including the original MGM joint venture that happened. But after that, you've been at NetEnt, I hope I've said that right, and Red Tiger, which everybody should know who the Red Tiger is. Selling to, well, before it was sold to Evolution, but for the past 3 years, and that's where I want to focus today's chat, but you can go backwards if you wish. You've been at White Hat Gaming, certainly your Chief Commercial Officer, but you're the CEO now. And you are really driving things forward, especially in the US, which is, again, the focus we're going to talk about today. And I love the way that you say, believe it or not, and it's true, you're the 6th biggest iGaming supplier in the US. And that's just after being live for 20 months. And you are got a major success story. So welcome, Andy. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for the warm welcome. I should say that White Hat is in several parts. So I know we're going to talk about platform later.
Yeah.
So my area is actually the studio side. So it's of the White Hat Studios division.
Yes, sorry. Yeah. It just rolls off the tongue of White Hat Gaming for me. So it's just the way it goes. But okay, that's cool. So listen, I wanted to start chatting to you about this amazing position that you've actually achieved. And it's the fastest US rollout. And you were the first supplier to be live in all 7 iGaming states. And that's an amazing journey. Just from a podcast listener's point of view, how the hell did you do that? How should anybody else be doing it?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a very exciting journey for everyone at the team. Like you say, it's sort of from day one till now, it's been 20 months. I put it down to 4 sort of reasons, actually. Like the #1 is people. So we're very lucky to have, I'll be honest, like I think you mentioned earlier, I've been in the industry 20 years, so I've got a really big black book of good people that I can call on. So we have hired a lot of people with US experience from like tech delivery to commercial. We were fortunate or successful in doing the deal with Blueprint Gaming. So we bought a really good tech stack. We bought a really good back catalogue of games, which I think are the sort of like the best games in Europe. So it's just all come together. Like, we had product that people wanted. We've got some really good USPs. So from that degree, like it hasn't been a hard sell to the customers. The hardest challenge in the US is, and I guess most suppliers will find this, is actually getting live in terms of, that from when you decide to go into the US, I always say to people, it's 2 years. You have to get your personal licenses. You have to order the tech. You have to do GLI certifications. You have to get regulatory approval in every state. You then have to get integration slots with each of the suppliers. And to be honest, a lot of the suppliers, a lot of the operators until recently have been focused on sports. But you can kind of tell in the US, it's, casino is really important now. That's where the profit comes from. That's where the growth comes from. And hopefully there'll be more states soon. But yeah, it's been really enjoyable, I have to say.
I have to, because I've been working with your company for quite a while, and it's in the wider group. When you said people, I totally agree. People I work with and engage with in your company across the group have got a really good personality of openness. So I applaud you for that. I really do, because I can give first-hand experience that it is good. And I deal with Eric, who's it gets to the point, but he's always still got a smile on his face. He's great.
I think we have no egos. So
it's wonderful to work with you guys.
It's a bit like a family, actually. Like we haven't had anyone leave. We're all actually. They might not say this about me, but I think we're all friends as well. So, But it's a very good, hard. I mean, the team works exceptionally hard, I should say. It's not a jolly, but we do have a good time at the same time.
Yeah, I totally. That's what we've got. We're all about our team. But I totally endorse that through personal experience with your guys. Absolutely. So here you are out there in the US, but you've talked about all the things, and you said about the 2 years. Actually, by the way, it's taken us 2 years to get ready as well. We're a payment provider. We're not even doing the gambling side. We're going to be serving the gambling. But the piece for me from what you've done is, how do you differentiate yourself from the competitors in that US gaming market? I know you've got game variety and quality and innovation, but give me a little bit more information on that. How does that work?
Yeah, so in terms of like games and tech, I think we have two really big, unique selling points. One of it is our branded IP. So we call ourselves a house of brands, and we have spent millions on doing deals, like with Deal or No Deal, Peaky Blinders, Ted Goonies, etc. But that really helps sportsbooks with player acquisition to get new players in. So those games are, they're flying, and all the operators want them. You get a bit of a daisy chain effect. So when MGM, FanDuel launch your games, you're then looking at some of the smaller guys going, we need those games. So it's an easy sell. And then the second part, and it comes from sort of experience of working in the US market, is our jackpot system. So there isn't actually many good jackpot products in the US. Most of them are sort of standalone games. So we've come in with a product called Jackpot Royale, which basically links as many games as you want into a progressive system. So I think in like Michigan and Pennsylvania, we have over 30 games feeding into a jackpot. So they're literally just paying out constantly to the players. I think on last check, we paid out something like 16 million in the last 12 months. So, it's one of our biggest, it's our biggest strengths. I also believe in commercial teams. So we have, I think I said we have nice people who work for us, and, the operators are their friends. I think we're trusted because we have an experienced team who've worked in Europe for years and years ahead of this. So it just comes together.
Yeah, you guys know what you're talking about. That's for sure. Yeah. It's very important because it's transparent and honest. So that comes across, and that is what operators want. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely the trust element. Like if we tell people a game's good, I think they believe us. And, we don't say that about every one of our games. We push the games that are the best. Yeah.
That's really cool. So that is Jackpot's launched, you said. It's out there, is it?
Yeah, it's live, and also it's there's 30 games linked to it, and it's we used to panic when we saw the jackpots drop, but literally we probably have about 8-9 jackpots drop a day now, so it's become second nature to us.
Okay. Wow, gosh. And you say that this brand and IP important in the games. I mean, this is something you're doing yourselves in the background. Have you got is that experience, or is that just pure focus and drive? How does that work?
So I would say it comes from experience of, I worked as an operator for many years, as you said, at Entain. And then when I was at NetEnt, we actually got some of our best games in the US market were Jimi Hendrix, Motorhead. So it's a continuation of that, because there is a lack of product in the US. So we did go and do these huge deals. And, we do find that the best way to get player acquisition for casinos in the US is, if a player comes in the casino and they see Ted or they see Deal or No Deal, they do drive towards those games. You can do quite good marketing campaigns based on brand IP. So yeah, it is something we do, and we push a new branded content every month.
It's exciting.
Yeah, they're fun brands to work with, I have to say.
Yeah. Do you profile it? Do you have to think of the operators you're working with, or do you just look? This is what I've got. This is what we've done the research. We've got the IP. Take it or not take it, depending on what you feel. Or do you also work with the operators on profiling?
I would say it's a bit of both, to be honest. So
okay.
With branded IP, you typically want the games to be soft, so players don't lose heavily. You want them to have an enjoyable experience, so they come back. But then at the same time, some of the games are targeted towards VIP players, so they are much lumpier.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I want to also now get into some of the areas of that hard work. So that was exciting stuff. But there's a lot of hard work that's gone out there as well, and state rollouts. As you said, it's not something that happens overnight. And even as a payments person, I can vouch for that in our own area. But the long way can be the short way, in my view. Talk to me about Rhode Island and the iGaming launch and the early learnings you've got from this and the latest state to launch.
Yeah, as we all know, like everybody wants more states. Everyone's watching it daily, but Rhode Island's been the only one that's launched recently on the 1st of March. That was a really interesting project for White Hat Gaming in its entirety, because it's actually our platform in that state, and then also we were one of 3 suppliers that went live day one. So it was, it was something that we had to get right.
Yeah.
Because, but I think it's gone fantastically well. In the first month there was no marketing, and that was a tactic by Bally's. But the players have come, and they're quite significant already. And I'll be honest, that state is just going to grow and grow. For White Hat Studios, it's been fantastic, because that's the first time we've ever gone against the big tier 1 suppliers, where we go live on day one head to head. And I don't want to show off, but I think we had something like 58% of turnover in that first state. And when you're launching in New Jersey, when it's like 50 suppliers and 29 operators, it takes a long time to get up to 2-3% market share. So I would like more states, because I think that's where the new suppliers from Europe or the US guys who are entering, that's where you can really make your mark. You're not playing catch up, you're just competing day one head to head.
So how many are there now in Rhode Island?
How many suppliers?
Yeah,
there's only 4.
4. Amazing.
So Stake Logic, which we launched with their first live dealer project, IGT and ourselves, and then Light and Wonder have just gone live. They may have sub-providers as an aggregator as well, but there's 4 integrations of suppliers.
Okay. Rhode Island's quite a small place. I remember the first time I went there, not in this industry, I was in a different industry, but I actually like Rhode Island. I like it a lot as a place. So it's just as a side bit. I need to ask something. I know it's not your particular side, but I know you've got the insight in it. And I love this question, because I say it to my own team, and then I get a few different answers, because being in payments, it has a different meaning for us as well. What's a PAM? For anybody that's listening, PAM, what's a PAM? I had an anti-PAM, but that's not what we're talking about. What's a PAM?
That's a very good question. So when I started at White Hat, I was Chief Commercial Officer, and so basically, looking after sales and marketing on the white label and the platform side. And it probably took me 6 months to actually understand what a PAM was. But PAM stands for Player Account Management. It's basically how I would describe it. It's basically the machine behind the front end of a casino. So it's basically the product which is getting money in and out of the casino. It has the sports book plugged into it. It has all the integrations of payment providers, KYC, casino suppliers. I think White Hat has something like 300 third parties going into our PAM. I'd probably say it's the least sexiest part of the industry, but I always think it's the most important part, actually, because no one can actually make money unless you have a platform.
Right.
That makes sense.
Well, no, it does. Of course it does. And is it price or delivery? What's going to win on that?
I'll be honest, I don't mean to talk out of turn to anyone here, because obviously every business is different. But the US is actually the most fascinating market for platform, because a lot of deals in the US are done on price. And I should say, it's not a secret, White Hat is probably one of the most expensive, but we do deliver. And I think we rolled out 13 states with Penn in the first year. Bally's has gone live with 8 states in the last 3 months. So it depends what an operator wants. If you want to pay less, but you might not, it might be 6 to 12 months late. You might not have all the tools. I think it really depends on the operator, what they want. If they want to be live quick and make money, and for us, so I should just say, so we have 40 people on White Hat Studios on our platform side of the business, which makes way less money. We have 550 people, but platform is all about stability. If your platform goes down, you lose player trust. If the payment providers, the APIs go wrong in your platform and you can't get your money out, no one's ever going to trust you or come back. So I think it's definitely not a straightforward answer, and there's definitely the market in the US for either delivery or price. As a former operator, I'd always pay a little bit more and go for stability, if I'm honest, because I just think you don't want to be getting in trouble with the regulators and lose your players.
No, you want to make sure you're doing the right thing, and for the right reasons, of course. So we haven't got very much time left, but I wanted to also come into, well, I'll discuss about payments. I know that you and I have only really recently got to know each other, really, but as I've known your business for a while. So as a payments company, we're sitting up on our pedestal shouting that all payments companies should get into the RG world and take responsibility and accountability to support operators. And I still say that proudly in public all the time because it's so important. That's what we're doing. That's what we're bringing to the table for everybody as well. One of the things, but with a passion and an honest transparency. Where does it come from you for the RG responsible gaming? What is it that you can add? Are you doing things? Are you doing anything in RG for the operator?
Yeah, I mean, it isn't my area, but when you talk to the White Hat Gaming guys, like if you talk to Ed Bullock, the COO, RG is actually the number one priority of the business over making more money, if that makes sense.
Oh, so good to hear.
You have to have player protection and trust. Yeah, I mean, the amount of, when I used to sell the platform to operators, the amount of like KYC, AML, it's just like unbelievable amounts of tools in there. And, it's not just the US, but, if you look at the fines in Europe, like you really have to be a responsible operator these days if you're going to continue in the future.
Yeah, and to keep the business as a sustainability. It's some of the things that we've got, insights to how the commissions or the regulators decide to change it in Europe to say, well, in that case, we're going to do this. Germany's a good case in point. But trying to get this right and work with the players, it's so important. And I'm really pleased to hear that you're doing that as in the context of what you deliver. Because I think the more, the better. And you're right, it's not just America. But the word RG is very much responsible gaming is used in America in a business term. I join forces with a few other people I know in America that I don't think the consumer understands responsible gaming. It's not exactly a consumer-friendly term. But the principle's there. And I really stand out for it. So I'm really pleased to hear that's what you're doing.
I never knew actually recently until I was having dinner with one of the founders and we were just talking about the name. And actually White Hat Gaming comes from that he wanted to only operate in regulated markets and be the most responsible platform in the industry. So that's why he's got white in the name. That's
amazing. That's a great point to end with, that is. Yeah. How fantastic. That is wonderful. And that white hat that stands out on the branding. But I want to thank you, Andy, because I love talking to you because you just say it as it is and you give us...
it gets me in trouble quite a lot, I have to say.
Does it? Does it? Never mind. It's done now. It's going to be published. I love talking because you've given us words that people can understand and you've talked about the whole piece of what you're going for and why. And I love when people give their why, and that's fantastic. So thank you. Thanks ever so much. It's been a joy, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
No worries. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for listening to today's iGaming Daily podcast, supported by Optimove, the #1 CRM marketing solution for the iGaming market. If you want to find out more about some of the subjects raised today, feel free to explore any of the sites in the SBC News network or check out the latest edition of the SBC Leaders magazine. Happy reading.